Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to play with Iron Fist. I actually really like Iron Fist, even though I make fun of him a lot, and I've been recently playing with him in low-level Shadowland, and every time I play with him I have more and more fun. So I think I've kind of rediscovered a love that I didn't know I had for Danny Rand. Now, just to be clear, although I have like a top 1000 build, he's a very below average character. He does have some things that make him good. He's got some heals, he's got some immunity, got some iframes, got some invincibility, etc. And he's got a uniform, which I'm about to make mythic for this build. But even with all of these investments, he's a subpar character compared to a lot of the other combat types, which is saying a lot because most combat types just straight up suck. And then compared to most other characters in the game, he's also pretty below average. I'd say he's about a 4, maybe a 4.5 out of 10. At most, I would say he's a 5. So at the very best, he's like an average character in Marvel Future Fight. But that doesn't stop me from building up characters because I just genuinely like them. In this case, I do. Iron Man, not for War Machine. It's actually good that we got crit rate because that's what I wanted to roll, although it's a pretty low roll. So we're actually going to try one more time to get a higher roll for crit rate, although this is wasting gold. That's much better. 719, we're going to eventually have to upgrade Iron Patriot. But let's take a look at his build now because there's some interesting things specifically that I've done with this build that I can encourage you to do with certain other builds that you have for specific characters. You have to pay close attention to this, but it's possible with characters like Captain America in some cases if you don't use them for Alliance Conquest. If you don't care about their PvP performance as much, you can definitely get away with this. Let's take a look at what I've actually done. So if we look at the Uru, we went for energy attack and crit rate almost exclusively with a little splash of dodge, and we'll explain why in a little bit. We leveled up all of his skills to 6, which is important, specifically for 2 and 3, which we'll talk about. I went ahead with Hawk's Eye, which is also interesting because it lacks ignore defense, but it does make up for the ignore defense with both dodge and cooldown. And I also get the Vital ISO for some extra HP. And then right now I have a double max HP proc, which is pretty garbage. I'm going to be switching it over right now to a CTP of Destruction. Now this isn't a perfect roll. This is a 160 roll, but it's 41.5% crit damage, so it's pretty nice. And in general, although he doesn't necessarily need the guard break immunity because he has iframes and he has dodge, and he has guaranteed dodge on his tier 2 passive, I like to just make sure that he doesn't get guard broken or interrupted because all of his damage comes, well, most of his damage comes from proccing on the Iron Fist, and that skill is no iframe, it's just a straight shot. Well, it's more of a circular shot, but anyways, if you get guard broken or interrupted during that, you're losing like 80% of your damage, so that's why I went ahead and did that. But now if we take a look at the details page, you can see that I'm overcapped. I'm a little overcapped on cooldown because of my cards. I'm at almost 50% crit rate, which is nice, almost 200% crit damage, also nice, almost 75. I'm at 68% dodge, which is also very, very good. The attack speed, I admit, could be higher, but the interesting thing here is the ignore defense. A lot of you are immediately going to say, Cynicalex, you're 11 points, almost 11 points off max ignore defense. That's a lot. That's going to really hurt your damage. Well, it's not in this case, because specifically for Iron Fist, his third skill, Kunlun Focus, gives him 15% ignore defense for 20 seconds. So actually, if I cast this every 15 seconds, I'll perpetually have a 15% ignore defense buff. Now, if you get debuffed by Thanos or another world boss, that obviously will hurt you for the next 15 seconds, but it's only 15 seconds, and it shouldn't be the difference between you clearing the stage and not clearing the stage. And actually, now that I think about it, my dodge rate is 16%, so with 16% tacked on, I'm actually overcapped by 10%. So I can go back here now, and I can actually change this dodge to attack speed, which is actually really nice. If we ever roll attack speed, but we can actually do that. And actually, you know what? We're not going to do that. Change my mind. Instead of doing that dodge, we're going to do this dodge right here, and we're going to change this one to attack speed if I can ever hit it. If we get crit rate as well, we'll also take that as an option. But it's these kinds of quirky little builds that I actually really like. So now we have 58, 68. Yeah, so now we would only be overcapped by 1% on dodge once we hit that third skill. So the basic combo for Iron Fist, and the reason why you want to level up those skills, is 3, 2 to get the accumulation, and then 4. So you just do 3 cancel, 2 cancel, 4. You want to proc on that, and then hide with the 5th skill, which is what we're going to try to do. Additionally, on his gears, he doesn't have any skill cooldown. So that's one reason why you may want to consider Hawk's Eye for him instead of Power of Angry Hulk or for overdrive. And he's one of the few characters where Hawkeye actually makes a lot of sense because of that buff. So if you find characters that have those ignore defense buffs like Captain America, it's definitely something that you can try. Now, we're not going to take him into some very intense, very difficult World Boss Ultimate gameplay because, well, let's be honest, he's just not very good. But we're going to try a stage 20 Call Obsidian, and we're going to go with an old school. I just want to see it for the nostalgia's sake. We're going to go with an old school combo. So for those of you that don't play this game or haven't been playing this game for a long time, I'm going to show you what we used to do in World Boss. We used to do Warwolf lead with Iron Fist, and then we used to also use Daisy. And this was in the era before damage procs. Believe it or not, this was before we had damage proc obelisks. Crazy thought. I know this was actually a real time in Marvel Future Fight. I'm not making it up. This is actually something that existed once upon a time, and we're going to basically use the Warwolf buff. Then we're going to swap to Daisy. We're going to use her third skill. Then we're going to swap to Iron Fist and try to unleash hell. And this is how people honestly cleared the old World Boss. There wasn't even World Boss Ultimate. There was just World Boss. This is how people used to clear the old Black Dwarf World Boss. And I kid you not, it actually worked, although it was very difficult. They also used it to clear Proxima and later on Thanos as well. So it's something that, yeah, and it works. I mean, it's obviously not as potent as it used to be. We just procced on 5 there by accident. We want to accumulate some damage here. We're going to do 5, cancel into 4. We get pretty bad damage, to be honest with you. But that's okay. Now, obviously, the immunity is not going to protect us. We missed the proc there. The immunity is not going to protect us from certain other abilities that have penetration, so we do need to take care of that. But, I mean, once upon a time, there wasn't such a thing as penetration, so we didn't actually have to worry about that. And honestly, back then, the crazy thing is, back then, Iron Fist didn't even have invincibility. He literally just had the 4th skill. All of the other skills were crap. I think he still had a buff, but otherwise, he didn't have any other abilities that made him useful. So that was about a bar and a bit, or sorry, half a bar and a bit on the 4th skill without the proc. We actually missed the proc there. And sometimes you could get lucky and you could actually use the co-op skill, that 6th skill, and you could proc on that as well. You could get him to use his 4th skill a second time, which would actually be really nice. Now, you know, you can tell by now we're not going to clear this stage. I mean, maybe if we actually played really aggressively and we got lucky, we could clear this. It's possible. The strikers are doing most of the damage. Let's be real here. But more than World Boss, which is honestly not the place for someone like Iron Fist, Danny Rand, you want to play him in Shadowland. So for those of you that are watching this and saying like, well, what the hell is Alex smoking? This gameplay is sad. He's struggling. He's not very good. You're right. He's not very good. But if we take him into Shadowland, and yeah, okay, you know what? Every character is good in Shadowland. I get that. I really do get that. But, you know, if I'm going to be playing Shadowland to the 80th stage, if I'm going to be clearing 80 stages of Shadowland every week to get all of those boxes, praying that I'm going to be getting you know, booty box that has a CTP in it, or something, or sorry, a Shadowland box that has a CTP in it, or something like that. If I'm going to be doing that, then I want to do it, you know, with characters that are fun, with characters that are strong. And so in this case, I'm going to be trying this out. This is a stage 31. Sorry, not characters that are strong. Characters that are fun, not just characters that are strong. I kind of got carried away coming up with this team up. But I want to play with characters that are fun. And you know what? Iron Fist, when you clap with that dragon, it's actually really fun. And trying to keep him alive in between. He's got some really cool animations. And it's just really nice to see that dragon spinning around. And the damage can actually be really cool sometimes. We can even go higher than 31, as you guys can see. But it's just a shame that there aren't enough hits. And honestly, Iron Fist would be a really easy character, although I don't know if he's ever going to get a rework. Iron Fist would be a very easy character to rework because of the fact that you just need to basically dial up his damage. He's got immunity, he's got iframes, he's got self buffs. He really just needs, he's got heals as well. He really just needs like his damage multiplied by 10. If his damage was multiplied by 10, and I paid attention to this stage, I might actually die here. But he could clear it. He could clear higher content, get level 70, gear 25, etc. And boom, there you go. I had a leadership, I had a team up, of course. It took a minute, I was goofing around, but honestly, he's a fun character to play. for Shadowland for low-level content that you know he can beat, and it's just really satisfying characters who can burst down enemies with one really cool-looking skin. We're gonna go back just one more time. I want to try this one final time on stage 9. Oh, I went stage 9 by accident. I was supposed to do stage 10. But I just want to see, you know, back in the day, how much damage did this really do? Well, it did a lot of damage. Honestly, the boss back then had, I think, 1.5 million HP. And I think a good timed attack, a well-timed attack, did like maybe 300,000. So you only need to do like 4 or 5 of those hits, maybe 6 if you had low crits. Or low crit damage to actually get it to land. But look at that. Isn't that satisfying? Well, we're getting a lot of striker damage, so it's actually I have to actually be careful not to clear the stage, and we're actually maybe obscuring how much. Okay, I'm scared. We're actually obscuring how much damage Danny Rand is doing and how much damage the strikers are doing, because it's such a low stage. I have such high raid level, and the all defense down and stuff like that really you know, confuses me who's actually doing the damage. But I just wanted to make a small little video. I also put this team up here. I don't really know what I was going to use this team up for. Originally, I think I was going to go into World Boss with this team, with Nick Fury and Wasp. And actually, I'm just really curious. I'm going to jump in for just about 10 seconds. Well, maybe not 10 seconds, but we're going to go back to stage 20. And let's put a real team this time. We won't put strikers in, but just so that we don't get snared, just so that we don't get interrupted. I am curious to see, and I think this is what I originally wanted to do, is to see how he could do, how Danny would fare with a real team backing him up. But yeah, don't build up Iron Fist unless you have a lot of resources or unless you really love the character. It's possible that he never gets a rework or a buff because the Netflix series is canceled. It's all moving to Disney Plus, and they're focusing on other shows right now like Loki, Scarlet Witch and Vision, all these buddy comedy type things like Winter Soldier and Winter Soldier and Falcon. So it's probably going to be a while, at least a couple of years before you know, anything happens for Iron Fist. And in the meantime, you know, we could end up in a situation where we're looking at Marvel Future Fight 2 or something like that. So I wouldn't hold your breath for an Iron Fist rework, but I can appreciate where he is now. I can appreciate what he's good at, what he's bad at, and just enjoy him for the small little joys, that little dragon flying around, and just cool animations. There are still characters that were released years ago, like Iron Fist, that have, like, honestly, almost all of his animations are really cool. His 4 is really cool. His 5 is also very cool. I mean, I'm bricking with every single 4 right now, but if I wasn't, oh man, that damage would be slightly better than it is now. It wouldn't be that much better, but it would be slightly better. There we go. We finally got a little bit of a proc, but I'll enjoy using him in Shadowland every week, once a week at least. And in the meantime, maybe there's characters out there that you guys... Can I seriously never proc? Is this just never going to happen? Anyways, maybe there are characters out there that you guys feel the same way about that I feel about Iron Fist. I didn't really word that eloquently, but you know what I mean. So yeah, Iron Fist, rank 227. Holy crap. Let me know what you guys think of Iron Fist. Let me know what you think of the video. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. Tomorrow I'll be doing the speedrun winner announcement. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.